They say New York never sleeps. But beneath the noise, beneath the streetlights, beneath the millions of people rushing from point A to B, there's another New York, one that's been forgotten. A hidden world of ghost stations, secret passageways, locked doors, and rooms that weren't supposed to exist. Some say they're just old subway tunnels. Others believe they hide something much deeper and much stranger. Today, we're going underground, into the city beneath the city. Welcome to New York's hidden world. Let's start with the obvious question. Why would a city like New York, one that constantly complains about overcrowding and underfunded infrastructure, have entire subway stations just sitting empty? Here's the truth. There are over 15 abandoned stations in the NYC subway system. Some were left behind due to reroutes. Others were shut down when train models changed or platforms were too short, and some were simply inconvenient. But these aren't just dusty hallways with a few rats. Some are stunning. Architectural time capsules frozen in the early 1900s. Take the City Hall station, for example. Opened in 1904, it was the crown jewel of the subway system. A masterpiece of vaulted tile ceilings, brass chandeliers, and stained glass skylights. It looked more like a European opera house than a train stop, but by 1945, it was closed to the public. Why? Because the newer trains were too long for its curved platform, and no one wanted to spend the money to renovate it. So they just shut the doors. And today, it's only visible if you stay on the 6 train as it loops back uptown, or if you somehow get invited to one of the secret MTA tours they rarely offer. That's right, the most beautiful subway station in New York is technically still active, but hidden from public access. But it gets weirder. Because New York's subway wasn't just built to get people from A to B. It was also built with contingency in mind. And that includes layers you were never meant to see. Literally. There are entire underground levels beneath active stations, lower platforms that were dug out, partially built, and then abandoned. Take Track 61 beneath the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. This isn't some urban legend. It exists, and it's not your typical subway track. This hidden platform was built to allow VIPs, including presidents, to arrive and depart in complete secrecy. The most famous story? Franklin D. Roosevelt reportedly used Track 61 to discreetly move in and out of the city without revealing his use of a wheelchair. His custom armor-plated train car could roll straight into a private elevator and take him directly into the hotel. It was quiet, it was unseen, and in a city of cameras, noise, and spectacle, it was invisible. The track is technically still there. In fact, you can spot it from certain Metro North trains if you know when and where to look. But you'll never get inside. It's sealed off. Why? National security, supposedly. Now let's talk about the weird stuff. There's a door in the Times Square subway station. A simple red door that hundreds of thousands of people walk past every day. No sign, no lock, just a door in the middle of a wall. Open it, and you'll find a staircase leading into complete darkness. No markings, no warnings, just a concrete descent into who knows where. Urban explorers say it leads to a sealed-off section of tunnel used during the Cold War as a communication hub. Others claim it connects to a network of rooms used for surveillance or emergency response. Is any of that true? No one knows. The MTA won't comment. And the door? Still there, just waiting. Now, if you think Grand Central is just a giant train station with chandeliers and tourists, you've barely scratched the surface. Underneath Grand Central is a massive power facility known as M42, a secret sub-basement that's so classified it wasn't even acknowledged publicly until the early 2000s. During World War II, it powered most of the electric train systems on the East Coast. If it had been destroyed, troop and equipment movements could have been crippled. And guess what? German spies actually tried to sabotage it. They were caught, silenced, and M42 remained unknown for decades. Even now, very few people have access. The exact location isn't marked on maps. There's no official entrance. You can't tour it. And it's guarded constantly. Why? Because M42 still plays a role in the city's power and transportation grid. One explosive down there, and Midtown would go dark. Grand Central isn't just a train hub, it's a power hub, a military asset, a piece of infrastructure woven into national security, all hidden in plain sight. Now let's shift from official secrets to unofficial ones. Because beneath New York, beyond the abandoned stations and government-secured rooms, there are people, living, thriving, hiding. They're called the mole people, though many hate that term. These are the city's forgotten residents, homeless individuals who've created entire communities inside subway tunnels, ventilation shafts, and abandoned corridors. Some of them have power, water, even furniture. In the 1990s, journalist Jennifer Toth wrote an entire book about these underground communities. At first, the city denied it, said it was exaggerated, but over time, more footage surfaced, more stories, and even documentaries. There are still sections of tunnel, completely disconnected from the MTA's system, where people are living off-grid. Is it dangerous? Sometimes. But more often, it's just sad. Proof that even in the wealthiest city in America, entire lives can disappear underground. So, what else is down there? Some theorists believe there are still rooms and bunkers that even current MTA officials don't know about. Others talk about Cold War-era fallout shelters built into subway tunnels. And then there's the persistent legend of the Deep Station, a supposed level far beneath the rest of the system with military access points, high-speed transport, and an unknown purpose. Sounds like a conspiracy, right? Maybe. But when you look at how much of New York is already hidden, how many doors, tunnels, and stairwells lead to places you're not supposed to see, it's hard to ignore the possibility, because this city was built in layers, and most of us only live in the top one. At this point, you might be wondering, so what? It's just old infrastructure, ghost stations and tunnels. Who cares? But here's why it matters. These hidden places tell a story of how New York evolved, of how the powerful moved in secret, of how emergencies were planned for in the shadows, and of how beauty, like the City Hall station, can be forgotten, simply because it wasn't convenient. These aren't just historical footnotes. They're reminders that even in a city where everything seems visible, everything seems known, there's still mystery, still layers to peel back, still doors no one talks about. And maybe that's the most New York thing of all. So next time you're standing on a subway platform, waiting for a delayed train, look around. That strange grate in the wall could be a door. That empty tunnel across the tracks might have led to a station more beautiful than any you've seen. That staircase marked authorized personnel only? Who knows? Because beneath your feet, there's a second New York, one made of secrets, shadows, and stories we're not supposed to hear. But maybe that's where the real city lives. Thanks for watching. If you found this hidden side of New York fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe to DeepMind Daily, where we explore the strange, the buried, and the overlooked. Drop a comment below. Which hidden station or room blew your mind the most? And if you've ever seen something underground in New York that didn't seem quite right, tell us about it. Because here at DeepMind Daily, we ask the question most people are afraid to. What's really hiding beneath our cities?